What's up YouTube, Laughing Pikachu here, welcome back to another video, and in today's video we are continuing to talk about Sun and Moon. Specifically today we're talking about how much Sun and Moon cards are worth, how much is the Ultra Ball worth, how much are Hyper Rares worth, what is the difference between a Full Art and a Hyper Rare as far as price value is concerned. There's a lot of new things that are going to be incorporated into this set. We now have GX cards and we have no EXs, no Megas, so there's a lot of new things that are part of this set, and so I want to just take a minute and sort of talk about the pricing structure of some of these cards and my predictions on what I think are going to be the top 10 most expensive cards for this set. But before we get started, I just want to point out that a lot of these are price predictions, and with time these prices are probably going to go down. A lot of these prices are based off of Troll and Toad and eBay. That is where I got most of this pricing, and that's where how a lot of this pricing has been structured. So yeah, just keep that in mind as we're going through this. With time these prices will go down because right now the quality or the amount of cards available is very low. And so just keep that in mind. But anyways, just a general breakthrough of the set. As far as GXs are concerned, I believe we have 11 different GXs. We have Decidueye, Lurantis, Incineroar, Lapras, Primarina, Espeon, Umbreon, Lunala, Solgaleo, Tauros, and Gumshoos. So those are all the different GX cards. Now we also have Full Art cards as well. We have 12 different Full Art cards. We have Lurantis, Lapras, Espeon, Umbreon, Lunala, Solgaleo, Tauros, Gumshoos, Lima, Lily, Professor Kukui, and Team Skull Grunt. Now, as far as the trainers are concerned and as far as the Full Arts are concerned, none of them made the list except for the Lily Full Art. Everything else that made it onto the top 10 list is all secret rare and hyper rare cards. Now, I want to use this opportunity right now to very briefly talk about the pull rates for these cards. You know, how rare are Full Arts and how rare are hyper rares and stuff like that. And so far, based off of the booster box videos that I have seen and the pre-release videos that I have seen, it is extremely hard to pull secret rares and hyper rares. Hyper rares basically have the same pull rates as secret rares. And the booster box ratios have not been that great. On average, I've seen people pull 1 to 2 Full Arts per box. If you're lucky, you get 3. Crazy lucky boxes you get 4, but I have not seen anything higher than that at the moment. Unfortunately, the pull rates for these sets they are not the greatest. But anyways, we do have 4 different secret rare cards. No, actually we have 6 different secret rare cards. We have the 2 energy card, which is the Steel and the Fighting, Steel and Psychic. And then we also have 4 different trainer secret rares. We have the Switch, the Rotom Deck, Nest Ball, and the Ultra Ball. And then we have, of course, all of the hyper rare cards. Alright, so now let's actually get into the list. First I want to just include a little honorable mention. Number 11 is the Switch Secret Rare Trainer card. That card is currently selling for around $30, and it unfortunately did not make it onto the top 10 list. And I was actually very surprised about this. I do believe that this card will go up just because there's so many decks out there that do feature this Switch Secret Rare, or the Switch card. And we've seen Secret Rare Switches before. And so I feel like it's going to be a pricey card that's definitely going to retain its value. Probably go down at first when it first releases, but it's definitely a card that's not going to be worth just a couple of dollars in the future. But anyways, now let's begin with the official list. Number 10, we have the Secret Rare Energy card. This is the Secret Rare Metal Energy or Steel Energy, whatever you want to call it. Currently they're selling for around $32 on eBay and Troll and Toad, which I think is very expensive. I do believe that eventually we will be seeing all of the different energy cards getting secret rares throughout Sun and Moon sets. Right now in this set we only have Psychic and the Steel, and I was actually really surprised that this did not rank higher up on the list, because when we saw the Japanese set release, these secret rare energy cards were some of the hardest cards to pull. I have watched people who have opened up like 20 plus boxes, and I didn't see a single one of these energies pulled, and so I was really surprised that it wasn't ranked higher up on the list, because they're definitely hard to pull. I think in the English set as well, the hard pull ratio is also reflected. But anyways, this is currently around $32, and I think it's going to stay like that. It's definitely going to remain a pricey card. Maybe not at 32, but I think it's going to remain pricey just because energy cards, especially like foil energy cards, have always been popular. Speaking of foil energy cards and secret energy cards, number 9 is also an energy. The Psychic Energy takes spot number 9 at around $33. In general, there's a little bit more Psychic usage in competitive play. There's a little bit more Psychic decks, and so for that reason, I believe that the Psychic Energy is worth a little bit more. But again, all of this is just really going to depend on what playable cards we see in the future. In the future, if we see a super playable steel type card or a steel type GX card, then it's very likely that the steel energy will become more valuable than the psychic energy. And all that stuff is very hard to predict, and pretty much is just based off of what Pokemon wants to do. But again, I do believe that these psychic energies and these energies in general, the secret rare energies, will remain valuable cards, just because a lot of the times players like to gleam out their decks and just put like foil energies and secret rare energies and stuff like that. So I think it's going to be a very, very good card to get. At number 7, I'm sorry, at number 8, we have the Lily Full Art, and it's no surprise to me that this card made it onto the list. When the Japanese set released, it was one of the most expensive cards. This card right here is by far the most expensive trainer Full Art card. It's going for around $40, which is worth quite a bit in comparison to a lot of the other Full Art cards and a lot of the other trainer cards. So as far as like trainer cards are concerned, the Team Skull Full Art is worth like $17, Kukui is worth $15, and so as you can see, like the other trainer cards just go nowhere near this card right here, and I think one of the main reasons is because this is like a female trainer card, and in general these cards always go for quite a bit. But yeah, continuing on, at number 7 we have the Secret Rare Nest Ball. This is a new trainer card that's new to the Sun and Moon set. We've never really seen a card like this before, and currently it's going for around $40. And a lot of the pricing of these cards are going to be dependent on whether or not people are able to build successful decks out of them. And a lot of the times, sometimes we see cards that, could be playable, and then, we think that they're going to be worth a lot of money, and then they end up being super unplayable, and they aren't as great as we thought they would as far as their competitive aspect is concerned. And so that's definitely a concern I have about cards like this, especially trainer cards. But yeah, at the moment it's ranked number 7 at $40. Alright, continuing on, we have our very first hyper rare. The Lurantis hyper rare is going for around $43. I just want to say this. A lot of the cards on this list are like $40+. Pretty much everything beyond this point is above $40. And that's very, very rare for sets like this. Last time we made a video like this, it was Evolutions, and the most expensive card from Evolutions was the Mega Charizard Full Art card, and that was a $35 card, and that was its pre-sale price. And so as you can see, this set is already worth quite a bit more, and that's because these hyper rares, they're these new things, and nobody really knows what the general pull ratios are going to be, and so I think that's one of the main reasons that we're seeing such expensive cards for this. Now, I have seen some other websites list these for like $35 to $40, and I believe that once the set has been released for like a month or two, I honestly see them dropping to around $35 to $25, just being realistic right here. But anyways, at the moment it's at $43, and this is the Lurantis Hyper Rare. At number 5, we have the Espeon Hyper Rare, which is, again, no surprise to me. Hyper Rares bound to be expensive, and this is an evolution, so it's a popular card on top of that. And there's a GX card associated with this, and it's just, I'm not surprised about this. Always been a fan favorite. And so anyways, this Espeon is going for around $47. And at number 4, we have the Umbreon Flirt, which is going for around $48. Now, honestly, I think that these cards are going to be worth around the same. I don't believe that, Espeon is like significantly like less popular than Umbreon or anything like that. So overall, I do believe that these cards will be worth around the same amount of money, unless we end up seeing very competitive, playable decks centered around them. But I don't really see that happening, especially with like one favoring over the other. I don't really see that happening. But anyways, the Umbreon currently around 48. The Espeon is currently selling for around 47. And at number 3, we have the Lunala GX Hyper Rare Full Art card, which, by the way, these names for these cards, they're a mouthful. But anyways, the Lunala currently going for a whopping $50, and I think there's a couple of reasons for this. First of all, this is the legendary card from Sun and Moon, legendary, the Lunala and the Solgaleo, very pricey cards. They're new Pokemon, the most popular Pokemon from this newer generation, because, obviously they're like the main logos of, the video games and stuff, and the set centered around them and all that stuff, so it's no surprise that these things are so expensive and so popular. But yeah, I think that these cards are going to be some of the most highly sought after hyper rares. I honestly believe that they will be more highly sought after than the Espeon and Umbreon and stuff like that, and it's no surprise to me. But anyways, at number 2, we have the Solgaleo hyper rare full art card, and this one is worth $60 in comparison to the $50 Lunala card that we were just talking about. And honestly, again, this is not really a surprise. It shouldn't be, because Solgaleo is significantly more popular than Lunala. The version, as far as like the video games are concerned, there were polls taken online, and there were significantly more copies of Pokemon Sun sold than in Pokemon Moon. And so ever since the beginning, Solgaleo has just been quite a bit more popular than Lunala. So obviously that's reflected in its price value as well. But anyways, the final card, you guys probably would have guessed by now what it is, since we have not mentioned it on the list yet. It is the Ultra Ball. Ever since we heard that this card was releasing, I think a lot of people knew that this was going to be an extremely expensive card. So far, before this, we saw a secret rare Ultra Ball. Before, it was one of the classic like gold border trainer cards. It wasn't like this beautiful full art card, but it was like a regular trainer card that we had been seeing that was the secret rare version, and that card was extremely expensive. At times, it was selling for over $200, maybe even $300 at some point. And so there's no surprise that this card is an extremely expensive card. Now, as far as Troll and Toad is concerned, this is listed as $190 on Troll and Toad. Now, I was looking at eBay pre-sales, and I was looking at some of the other websites as well to sort of get a good idea of what to, price this card at, because it's very hard to predict. It's hard to say, will this card be more expensive than the old Secret Rare Ultra Ball? Will this be a highly sought after card? Definitely highly sought after, but I'm not sure. Personally, I think people would prefer this Ultra Ball over the old version of the Secret Rare Ultra Ball, just because it looks a lot nicer, and a lot of people, get the secret rare cards just to make their decks look nice and look appealing, and this is definitely a card that fits that sort of criteria. But again, Troll and Toad is listing it at $190, which is, in my opinion, a little bit high. Definitely, since the set is just about to release, I feel like definitely with time, once they stop printing Sun and Moon, there's definitely a possibility that this will be a card that's worth $190 or even more than that. But I feel like at the moment that's a little bit high. I was looking at some other websites. A lot of the other websites had them listed for around $95 to $115, but a lot of those websites that did have them listed were already completely sold out of that card, and this was just like pre-sales. And they were sold out of that. So I don't know. It's hard to predict. eBay, I have been seeing them sell all over the place. Some of them were selling, above $150, and some of them were selling for around $95. I think on Verbank, which is the Facebook selling group thing for Pokemon cards, most people are only willing to pay $95 at the moment. But I think 95 is a bit low. I think around 130, 150 is probably what I'm predicting on what the price of this card will ultimately be 1 to 2 months after this set releases. But anyways, those are, again, all of this stuff is just predictions. I would love to know your thoughts and your opinions down below in the comments. And yeah, one thing that I do want to mention, this was the top 10 list, but as far as like other information is concerned, the Rotom Secret Rare is a secret rare card that was not mentioned on this list, but it is a very valuable trainer card worth around $25. And then in general, the regular full art cards are worth $15 to $20, which is quite a big difference, because the full art's worth $15 to $20, and then we have like the hyper rares, which are worth like $30, $40, $50. So that is a very significant difference. In general, I'm seeing that the full art cards are worth around $20 to $30 more than the hyper rares are worth $20 to $30 more than the full art versions of the cards, and then the GXs are worth around $5 to $8. That's the general price range that I'm seeing. And then the most expensive holo card at the moment is the Oranguru holo, which is worth $3 on Troll and Toad. So yeah, those are the general pricing. Let me know your thoughts and your opinions down below in the comments. And yeah, make sure you go enter into the Sun and Moon booster box giveaway that I'm doing right now, and that is going to do it for today's video. Thank you for watching, guys. Leave a like if you are hyped for Sun and Moon. We've got a whole bunch of very expensive, very valuable cards coming your way, and I just can't wait to open them up and share them with you guys. But yeah, I will catch you guys in the next one. Bye, guys.